Hi, everybody. This is obviously the first time that we've been together uh, um, since Bob has passed away, and I just want to personally say how grateful I was to him, and what a wonderful man, and um, we're all going to miss him. Obviously, there's a celebration of his life tomorrow, so I want to open it up, and I want. Tom, I'd like for you to ask, and representative of him, I'd like for you to ask the first question to me today. Okay, babe?
That sounds good, and I appreciate you what you said today, and then also on the Liberty Bowl press conference because we're all missing Bob, and it's not going to be the same around here.
Yeah.
Just for starters, can you tell us about the roster transition? You had a bunch of guys, and then you've been losing some in the portal too. What that's been like for the last week?
Well, it's been a lot of decision making. The portal comes two different ways. It comes by guys wanting to explore opportunities to go play somewhere where maybe they're not able to play here. There's the first one. The other one is financially. Obviously, they want to explore um, what their opportunities may be somewhere else financially. And then us as a staff, we've got to make all those decisions on whether the financial asking price is what we determine the value of the player is. And if it is, then we try to keep them here. If it's not, then obviously we wish them well. And if it's strictly about the financial piece, then um, um, we know at that point we'd be out of it. I do want to be very specific here. We have money. Our donors have been very good financially to us. Revenue sharing coming up here in July. We have money. It's we're not losing these kids because we don't have money. We're losing them because uh, what our value is per to what maybe they can get elsewhere has been at times substantially different. We were a 6-6 football team, and we've got money, and so we need to use it wisely. There are We have 29 visits already set up coming out of the portal. What's hard, I think, probably on the fan base is that we know more about who's in the portal than probably anybody does. The availability of us getting them, and so basically it comes down to those two things, Tom. And if we weren't able to match what the number was out there nationally for somebody, then we were saying, hey, we believe that we can go get somebody as good or somebody or two somebodies for that amount of money.
Okay, and I got a kind of a two-part thing. What is the O line going to look like? Who might be moving up to the first team with with all the guys, the three guys
Yeah.
leaving? And then what
Well,
is
we
your practice schedule? What are y'all already going? What's it going to look like?
we start tomorrow the first time, then we go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, play the game on Friday. So that there'll be 11 practices starting tomorrow. Now they've been lifting and throwing, but not a set practice per se with coaching and all that. What was your first part, Tom?
About O line, who might be taking starting
Yeah.
jobs?
Well, we're really high on Kobe Branham. I mean, really high on him, and so I imagine he'll obviously fight with Joe Moore for one of those spots in there, and then uh, Brooks Edmondson would be a guy at a center spot. Joe Moore has been playing center as well. So, we have three guys that's played a lot of ball for us available for the bowl, and then we've got to put in a few more guys. Joe's obviously played a lot of ball in his career, not necessarily a lot here, but I'm high on Kobe Branham, and I think it'd be a great opportunity for him, sort of like what a Marion Harris's was a couple of years ago in the Liberty Bowl as well.
Right. Coach, you kind of mentioned that you didn't think the portal was going to be a big a deal for y'all. As the price has been more, I mean, there's been like probably a dozen guys that probably didn't have a playing future here that have entered, and but several guys obviously that either play or I know you guys really like. Has the prices that you're hearing and stuff been more than what you anticipated?
Yes, um, uh, a lot more. So I think at some point, Trey, we had to decide, are we going to pay a whole lot of people, or are we going to pay a fewer number of people more money? And that's kind of where we went in that. But yet, to answer your question, I think, Trey, to be honest with you, when the word revenue sharing came out, I
Mhm.
think that drove the price of doing business um, 4 and 5 times what it may have been even last year.
I mean, it's got to be frustrating though to see like guys that you consider core players visiting in-state or in-conference rivals, Ole Miss, Alabama, LSU, and such. Like, I mean, Luke has and Kudus and all those guys.
Yeah, it is, and I'm sure it's frustrating to them whenever we do the same, but it just comes down to a staff decision on, are we going to be able to improve our team from 6-6 if we give this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, the amount of the money they're, because they're going to get better. The kids are going to get better, but how much better than the 6-6 can we get unless we go with portal available kids? And as you know, we've been pretty good in the portal. I think our 4 SEC players were all portal transfer guys. We're very confident that we can do that again, but we wouldn't have had financially, and we've got money, Trey, but we wouldn't have had financially the money left to go out and get what we might consider big time difference makers uh, had we just said yes, 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 yes. And if we had said that to every one of them, we, as much money as we have, we would have ran out. And listen, let's go back. Is it very frustrating? Absolutely. And I get that it's frustrating, but what we decided to do was save a huge pool of money to go in the portal, and that's what we decided.
Thanks. Uh,
Yeah, Sam, I'm curious. Are any of these guys that are in the portal, are they any of them going to stick around and play in the bowl game, or would you allow that if they wanted to? What's your
Yeah,
philosophy on that?
obviously everything changes, Hush, as the landscape of football. And to be honest with you, I think we're going to have, some guys come back, some guys that went in the portal that decided that, either they're not getting the finances that they wanted, or uh, that they liked it here. You know what I mean? So I do think we'll get some guys that went in that will come back, will want to come back. Um, what was your question? I answered part of it, but
Yeah, would any of them like still play in the bowl game? Like, would you
no,
allow
well, I
that or?
don't, I don't think so. Our first practice is tomorrow, and on our roster, as of right now, we don't have anybody going to be at practice that's in the portal. Now, if they came and talked to me, and that might be a different situation, and it would be different for different kids too, to be perfectly honest with you.
I'm curious with have any of the individual guys that have gone in the portal, have any of them maybe surprised you more than others? Like I think about Kudus, a few weeks back, you said you didn't want to redshirt him for somebody else. Did that surprise you? Like how did that come about?
Oh, there's been, I hate to talk specific kids, Andrew, and I appreciate the question. Yes, there's been several surprises. And then what you got to do is you got to figure out, is he, you know, what's happening right now is the agents are just making random calls to schools saying, if Joey gets into the portal, how much would you pay him? And what happens, then the agent gets back to the kid and says, hey, so and so will offer you X amount of dollars. And then the young man obviously wants to make money, and that's wonderful. That's what the portal's for. Then he comes in and says, hey, coach, whatever we agreed on, that's not the number. This is the number. And if you don't match it, then obviously they've already got security of another university. So um, I think I certainly would welcome any of those guys that did it the right way back, if that was a fallacy of their conversation with their agent. But yeah, there's been some guys that surprised me coming in saying that they're going to transfer. But most of the time it's about finances, and we have to make a decision on what we're willing to do coming off a 6-6 team.
Christina?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I have the right idea about something you said to Trey. So your strategy has kind of been you want to pay more guys a little less as to using most of your money for on a few guys. Is that the idea?
We have not always had money here. And so it's really, really hard to upgrade your football team that way, because otherwise you're going to, if you don't, we probably have more what the university or the state would say known guys this year, obviously, than what we've had in the past go in the portal. They probably didn't go in the past in the portal because we said, oh, we're going to match whatever it is to keep them. It's just hard to get financially, it's hard to get to better than 500 if you continue to pay a whole large pool of monies. And you kind of, and what we're thinking is you kind of cut that down and go out and get what we would consider huge difference makers. Now we're going to have to get, roster count. We're going to have to do that as well. But yeah, I think in a nutshell, that's what we're going to do.
Okay. And you touched on this a little bit when you said some guys might be back, but in the, early in the portal days, I remember you had said if guys entered the portal wanted to come back, you might not allow that. That's obviously changed. Just, do you plan on there being any kind of consequence or for the guys that come back? Is there, I guess consequence is maybe too strong a word, but how will you handle those kind of conversations with any guys that do want to come back?
Well, if they call me and they want to talk about it and um, we can agree on a number that was different than the one given. Uh, Certainly, as long as they left the right way. If they didn't leave the right way, then no, we wouldn't have that conversation. But if they left the right way, and I want people who want to be here. I do, and listen. I understand the finances, and you would too if you knew exactly the difference of money that's going on out there. How true it is, I don't know, but as long as they did it the right way, absolutely, and they loved the Hogs, that's big to me.
Daniel?
Daniel, I can't hear you, buddy.
You hear me now?
Yeah, there you go.
I guess it's the way that the roster that's going to be built this year. Is this going to be a pattern, or maybe kind of the way the roster is going to be built moving forward? That at the end of the year, you're just going to have a huge portion of your roster be portals for the incoming year.
Man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's more and more. There's 3,600 kids in the portal now, and that number's astronomical compared to what it's been in the past. So basically, what you're doing, guys, is you're signing two classes instead of one. You sign your high school class, which ours is about 24, and right now I think we're going to sign about 20, 23 in the portal. So you're basically signing two classes, and you basically have three different time periods in there to get that done. We have 15 coming in the next 5 days, 29 total at this point, and it may be different. It may be 32 by now. But everything's negative now because guys leaving. I think in a few days, I think everybody will feel a little bit better about it because of the guys that we're bringing in.